we come back with pretty much immediately what we left off on. The 5 of you knocked down onto like your Space Marine Tookuses from the shockwave that emanated from the cenotaph off in the horizon. The surrounding, I forgot the word for it, like shanties and what have you, collapsed into the ground, and the other surrounding areas kind of got a little bit leveled from the force of what just took off. It was enough to knock a Space Marine on their ass, if that doesn't tell you how much G-force that was, how much power just emanated off of that. And it's about at this point when you can all see the boxes, like all the box channels in your displays going absolutely ballistic. Tuning to 1 is just filled with static before it instantly cuts out. You can hear garbled orders being dictated over the VoxNet, but they very, very quickly, one after another, are just dying off until suddenly they're all gone. What do you all do?
Sugan doesn't notice because he's not wearing his helmet.
That's fair.
Like, I knocked my
You can still hear
helmet
your Vox without the helmet.
I mean, usually it's pretty like jammed with like guts or blood or something, and I'd imagine Zugan just like. Also, Zugan just hears static in his head nonstop. We all know that. That's already canon.
He's got a head full of bees, but would Sugan even know that he can hear the fox with his helmet off?
The bees are speaking to me again. They want me to smite.
I kind of like knock my helmet and I try contacting Helicarpion over the local Vox that we have for our team.
It is incredibly weak, but you can hear every other word.
Cool. We're in the same rough area anyway, so
You're like right next to each other, basically.
Yeah,
for all
so
intents and purposes.
We're in squid mode.
Squid mode.
We're in squid range.
Yes.
Squid range.
Oh,
yeah. I switched to I switched so that the box is projecting outward, so he can just hear me from his exterior sensors and go, "Your call."
From my local sensors and updates from tactical, who is where and who can I reach? Like, I know that we've got Sugan and Hercilia pretty close by, but Hercilia's rearming. I know that Dietrich is close to me. Daxan is the furthest away with the Inquisitor and the... I am so terrible with this guy's name. The guy whose head I nearly crushed.
Lord General Cassius.
Cassius. I keep wanting to say like Gaius.
Is it Cassius? No, you got me second guessing myself.
It's Castus Iacton.
Castus Iacton. Thank you very much.
Cool. All right, making a quick summary of what we've got assets-wise. Where's our evac?
So to answer your first question, you're not really able to get a solid readout on Daxan. When you comms him, local VoxNets are being hindered by the just sheer mass of ferrocrete that is the Primaris Citadel. The signals are so weakened. That's true. That is very true. You know where he's going to be because you talked about it beforehand. Your second question, where is extraction? Extraction for what specifically?
How do we get off planet? I know we came on planet. What's our normal modus operandi to get off planet?
Get the Inquisitor to get the ship off the planet.
So where's the ship?
Other side of the planet, or not planet, city.
You want me to get her there?
Inquisitor's in the hospital. So the immediate thought is fall back to the hospital. Now. We protect the Inquisitor. We protect the Lord General. We remove them off planet.
I cast a wary glance towards Helicarpion. What of the people? The mortals?
That blank ferrocrete helmet just swivels to you, shark beak aimed at you, and there's nothing over the Vox.
Tegan fidgets at the mention of like saving the people. I will stay in and save the people.
Derek, may I make? Can I? I'm going to invoke my personal demeanor. May I make a willpower test to not lose my temper?
Oh no.
That is a success. I do not lose my temper. I just curtly nod, and I'm going to. Though there is kind of a funny moment where like my chainsword revs, and I look to my hip and I go quiet, and then I blast off towards the hospital on my jump pack.
Very good. The hospital itself is part of the Primaris Citadel. There is a like suite of surgical like interventionist hospitals about midway up the spine that you remember Daxan telling you where he was at. Helicoprion and Sugan, what do y'all do before we pivot over to Daxan?
Oh,
Yep,
we have different agendas right now.
we do.
Yeah.
Protect the people versus fuck them kids. So we need to like. I either
This
need
is
to
a moment.
overcome my stubbornness,
Yep.
or you need to appease the salamander.
No,
Okay.
that's an order. I'm team lead. You follow it.
All right. Well, I guess I'm gonna be making a willpower test. Let's see.
This is
They-
fine.
The +10 willpower test to overcome my previous decision of wanting to protect the common folk. Okay, I
Damn.
succeed by a significant margin.
3.
Yeah,
Nice.
that'll probably be my only good roll of the session, which is the roll that I wouldn't have mind rolling bad on. So Sugan just nods at you, and he realizes that, yeah, we got to make the tough decisions here. As much as he'd like to just stay behind and fucking hold off whatever the hell is coming.
Yep. So we're going to fall back to the hospital as well.
All right. It is at this point that we will go ahead and pivot over to Daxan. At the moment of the the shuddering, the ground quaking beneath your feet, even in this huge tower that has been built to withstand significant magnitudes of earthquakes. All the lights kick out. The power generators, the secondaries, weakly chime back on after a few moments later, but it's only reserve lights. So the whole hospital is cast in this kind of red glow from, instead of being above, it's like from below. The running lights all over the place would be much the same.
Okay. So Daxan's first reaction to this, to the lights going out immediately, this is a man who continues to wear his helmet at all times because you're a space marine. You never know when someone's going to get it in their head to try to kill you. It's their job. And he wants to remain as bulletproof as possible. So,
Can't relate.
when the lights kick out, immediately, I know, yeah, you're the opposite of Sugan. When the lights kick out, instantly his helm's prey sense sights kick in because he is wearing the diagnoster and immediately cast the entire room in infrared red. And he just sort of gazes across the whole thing. Well, that's odd. Then he's just gonna walk over to the window after like the shockwave and see what everyone is doing in the rest of the surgical bay.
Sure, go ahead and make an
How does
awareness
it-
roll for me.
Sick. All right, I'm just loading it in. It's just taking its sweet ass time. At some point, this is gonna load, and I love it. Here we go. Okay, so currently I am. Let's see. So this is awareness. I have access to the Diagnoster Helm, which, as I recall, gets me a plus. I'm not sure. I think it's. I think there's a positive modifier for darkness, but let me just check. It's the Prey Sense site, so I need to make sure I'm doing this right. Because I'm not used to having this thing. I only just got it. There we go. Okay. Helmets, tractor trappings, Diagnoster Helm. Let's see, Prey Sense site, which is back at the beginning.
Oh, the ever lovely searcher on the book. Just tell us
Yes,
where it
you gotta
is.
love it.
Fantasy Flight. Just tell us where.
Right, just duplicate the fucking rules. Honestly, like I'm not gonna put you on a cross for putting the same rules twice. You don't have to reference anything else.
The
Or give me
appendix
the
is only
page
to
number.
find a page to where you can find another page that leads to the next page where you actually.
Found it.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Terrence.
so
I took like an
So-
hour to like reference all of my equipments and like bookmark the pages on my character sheet in Roll20.
Nice.
yeah, mine's still
far.
tabbed up to all hell. It's still not
Yeah.
enough.
I had to put that
Okay,
on my
so-
notes in a fucking private note thing because man, psychers just have boo. It's like no,
yeah.
help me.
So
I'm
we're
not
lower
doing much better
conditions, So I
with-
suffer no penalties due to darkness and gain a plus 20 bonus to perception tests at night. Would this qualify?
It's not night, but I will say that you get a plus 10. Sure.
Okay. I figured something like that would be approximate because it's darker conditions. We roll. And 3.9 degrees of success.
Booyah.
Okay, cool. So, your chronometer has indicated that it has been about maybe five minutes since the fighting started with your battle brothers and sister and the heretic Xenos cultists. You can hear down the hall the sound of people panicking. And it's a sustained panic. It's not just what's going on? There's seismic activity and I'm scared. It's, oh God, now it's worse. And it's just getting worse. Kind of panicking.
Okay. How's the Inquisitor doing?
No change in her circumstance yet. It's going to be a while before she'll be back up on her feet.
Right. But at very least, the whole toxin has been successfully administered before everything went to crap.
Yeah. No,
So-
we absolutely took care of that last time.
Okay, cool. Just want to make sure about that. Okay, so Daxian's going to turn towards the two Medicae serfs in the room and just say, "Watch over her. Again, if she dies, you die." And he's going to open the door and enter into the rest of the Medicae facility. And I imagine everyone's sort of panicking running around. He's just going to cue his Vox and amp it up until it's basically a megaphone, and just say, "Return to your tasks. This is not the moment for panic. If you have any concerns, bring them to me. If you don't, get back to work. We have much to do. You have little time to do it in." And he's going to turn and point his hand down the hallway towards the two guards. "You two, call me a crew. I require their assistance. As many as you can spare. We need to reinstill order on this level. Now."
They share a glance with one another. And then one of them turns to leave. The other one stays put. The first one leaving the room.
Okay.
And that's when you can hear the sound of las fire cracking through the hospital.
What kind of las?
You know, regular roll.
Oh, flashlights. Gotcha.
So
Well,
not
alright.
hot shot las, just las.
No hot shot.
Less
Okay.
Freem, more Zap. Gotcha. So Daxan, anyone who got that reference, good on you. Daxan is going to turn towards the remainder of the folks in the medical wing. He's going to say, "All of you, get ready to barricade the doors. Do not open them unless they are from me. I assure you, you won't be able to barricade them against me." And then he's going to turn around and walk back to the chamber with the two serfs. You two, prep the Inquisitor for movement. Immediately. I want her on a gurney. I want her ready to go. No arguments. He's going to wait to see if they confirm.
Oh yeah, no, they absolutely. Yeah, I figured you were just going to move on. Yeah, no, what are they going to tell you? No.
Okay. So he's going to turn around, reach his hand out, and as he does, the maglock on his power sword will leap the blade into his hand. Let's go see who's disturbing my floor. And he's going to open the door and walk outside and take a nice look around with his diagnoster helmet into the.
Give me
inside
another
of the
awareness check, please.
Okay. Same conditions.
Yep.
Okay,
It is also dark out here with only the red running lights along the floor.
I'm going to re-roll that.
Okay.
Since I have a fate point.
That was a
I would prefer
99.
to.
I would.
Yeah, there's literally no reason not to.
Get fucked.
There you go!
Oh.
Flip it on its head.
Hell
Good
yeah.
shit.
You can hear from multiple different places at the same time, Daxan, a word that you yourself have shouted, or a phrase that you yourself have shouted over many battlefields over your centuries of war and life. However, there's something that strikes you as so fundamentally wrong about the way that it comes off of their lips when you hear, "For the Emperor!" And just as the door to the medical shuts behind you, you can see the guard that stayed in blasting the panel with their hot shot.
So that's the dude who stayed in? Okay.
Yep.
And he has locked me out.
Yep. Shouting for the Emperor.
I'm going to ask a question.
Mm-hmm.
How long would it take for me to cleave the door back open with a power sword?
Depends on how well you roll. If you can get 3 degrees of success, I'll say you can shear through that.
You got this.
No. You know what? Hold on. Is there a roll I can do to see whether or not this guy is actually just following my orders, or is this guy just locking me out because he just wants me out of the room while he does terrible shit?
Scrutiny.
Okay.
Give him the old screw.
Give him the old scroot. Scroot
The old
Magoo.
screw.
Screw him.
Where's scrutiny again?
It's
The skill.
characteristic and skills, basic skills.
Oh my god! Seriously, if I stared at it any longer, it would have bit me. I don't think anything of it I'm willing to bet with a roll like that. It seems to be on the extreme edge one way or another.
For the Emperor, dude. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's fair. All right, so Daxan turns his attention to the more present threat in front of him and unsheathes his blade. That guy's not going anywhere anyway, so I'll have a chance to talk with him. So, how many are there in front of me that are currently doing their thing as he stalks the
You can see
hallways?
4 of them charging down with bayonets affixed to their las rifles.
Towards me.
Yeah.
Brave. Daxan with his blade in one hand is going to grab his rifle, level it, and unleash Kraken rounds on them.
Ooh.
This is gonna hurt.
Yeah. So let's see. Weapon talents. So we're gonna be going with a full. I'm gonna go with a full burst here. So the full. I guess yeah. Full rate of fire 4. So this is gonna be to hit. Any modifiers for full auto? I can't remember how this works.
I don't remember what they are. Soul knows for sure because he does that all the time.
Yeah.
What?
It's a
Okay.
stalker bolter, right?
Yes, it's a standard. It's a standard bolt gun.
Plus 20, buddy.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah. It's been a hot minute, so
You can find most of that on page 238. Core book, PDF.
thank you.
And I've
Alright,
already
cool.
forgotten.
Just gonna keep that tabbed.
The bees, they
238.
speak to Sugan.
Now, it'll be.
I had it tabbed, and it just kind of fell out. So there we go. Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. Perfect.
Not a problem.
Okay, rolling it out. Full auto. Oh my god, I'm having a bad go of it.
Bruh.
I'm rolling like ass today. 86. Fuck that.
Bruh. Good year for
alright,
music.
That's fine.
81
86
1.8
that
degrees
order.
of 1.8 degrees of failure, and you rolled an 86. You have an insanely good weapon skill.
Yeah, well,
ballistic
that's for ballistic skill. Well, it's
Yeah.
just the buff. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
actually not even that high. It's just I'm just firing it normally. So.
Yeah.
So, in your confusion at the same moment as you are electing to not carve through the door, to direct your attention down the hall, you're just blindly kind of firing off a couple of rounds of suppressing fire. Momentarily, it causes the four of the charging Xenos cultists to back against the wall. But it looks like they're going to continue on their onslaught. That was half action. That was a full
believe
action. It was
full
full
auto was a
auto,
full
wasn't it?
action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. In that case, they are going to they're going to try to get you, bud.
Good luck.
Yeah, they probably need it, honestly.
It's more a matter of how long will they last while they're here.
Right.
Those were good rolls. Good grief.
Yeah, not bad.
Checking their weapons skill. Load, damn you. I had it loaded and I accidentally closed it right before stream started.
Huge
Yeah, no.
mood, buddy. Huge mood.
In the goddamn mood.
Oh, good grief. It should take a little bit longer. Okay. None of those are going to hit you.
Hell yeah! These guys
Sorry,
just
that was really
charged into
anticlimactic.
I'm not complaining. Thank you. Okay. Interesting. So these guys all blitzed into melee with
fuck.
that, Sam?
Charge. Charge gives a buff. I
Charge.
forgot
There you go.
charge.
So
Yeah,
probably I
they
imagine at least
charge.
one of them's going to hit me.
Let's see, charge buff is 40k. I believe it's 15, but
10.
it's 10. Okay, so two of those guys are going to hit you then.
I had a feeling, yeah. I had a feeling the 38 and the 42 are probably going to hit.
Yep. Okay. So that is going to be 1d10 E. Or 1d10 plus 3. Yep.
What's the pen on that?
0.
Lol.
So
no
they
pen.
need Righteous Fury or they literally can't hurt me.
One of them got it.
I'm soaked 16.
Hey,
One of them
Night
got it?
Wanderer
Yeah.
is giving everybody a fate point.
Oh, that's very nice of you, Night Wanderer.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you very
man.
much.
Oh, shit. Righteous Fury confirmed.
There we go.
So that is going to be a total of 18 damage, pen 0.
And is that to the body?
That's a 3, so that's a 0. It was 30, or no, 38. So 83.
Yeah, so that's body.
That's body.
My body soak is better than my arms and legs. That's 19, so they still do nothing.
That's hilarious.
So,
All that for
Bayonets,
nothing.
let's go.
I assume it's my turn then.
Yeah, absolutely. They charged. That's all they can do this
so-
round.
Daxan just watches them charge in and just two of them. He just sort of bats the blades. He just bats the bayonets out of the way with his hand. He doesn't even parry with his sword. And the other two, he just watches the bayonets just strike and just bounce off his chest plate. And he's just going to look down at them. Camera's going to sort of zoom down as the optics are going to glow. That was a mistake. And he's going to take the blade and we're going to go for 2 attacks. So here comes the first one. Splitter. Let's see. So this is perception and... Well, here's a weird question I gotta ask about that stupid prey sense sight effect that I get.
I've got a weird answer.
I'm wondering whether or not the Diagnoster Helm applies to all my attacks.
No.
Which is weird.
I'm pretty sure it doesn't.
Yeah.
Imagine having a helmet having extra rules. This has been brought to you by the Sugan gang. I actually have 3 or 4 extra rules for not wearing a helmet, so never mind.
Man's got 2 helms and doesn't wear any of them.
Hell
3
yeah.
helms.
3 of them.
Like,
Yeah.
4.
Yeah, it's true though.
4.
Vision-based perception.
One of these days you'll wear mine.
Okay, so
is
it-
that really going over you guys' head? Come on.
So it just means that I don't get any penalties for doing this in dark conditions. That's all.
Okay.
So,
It's not super dark. They're not taking penalties to their rules.
That's fair. Okay, cool. That works for me. So if that's the case, then we're making 2 standard attacks. There's no modifier for this, so we're just gonna go with your average swipes. The first one, roll to hit. Wait. Wow, I'm having a bad run of it tonight, guys.
You got fate point?
75. Jesus.
Wait, that's with your
That was a
sword or
ranged
with your
attack.
gun?
That's with my sword.
Oh,
Sorry,
you
why is
still
that with the
saying
gun?
range.
It should be the sword. Sorry, I rolled the wrong one.
Put them to the sword.
This is the right one. Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ.
69,
69 though,
nice.
nice.
Nice. No, that's not a good buff. I'm gonna re-roll that with a fate point. This is getting annoying. Please die.
Oh my
You're
god.
fucking kidding.
Did you get 85?
So the first one
That's
definitely
69
misses.
Again. I was like, no.
The second one, there we go. 3 degrees of success. So let's do the damage. 28 points of energy damage.
He's super fucking dead.
Yeah. So I figured Daxan would probably miss the first one, and then for the second one, just reach his hand out, grab them by the head, take the blade, and just force it through them like cheese through a slicer, and just cut the guy in half. And then turn towards the others and land the turn there.
Fantastic. So it is at this point that you see the 2 of them up front kind of back into a more defensive stance of the one behind them as the remaining, the third man reaches into his satchel and activates a det pack. The first 2 are going to...
My man's going off
Yeah.
in the literal sense.
They know that they're not going to hurt you very much with this, with their weapons. They're going to give it their damnedest to keep you from getting to their homie, though. That's their turn. Back to you, bud.
Damn. Feels bad. Okay, then. So, our friend there with the det pack, has he successfully armed it?
100%, yeah.
Okay, then he has to die right the fuck now before it becomes a problem. So, I'm going to turn both my melee attacks on that guy. So, first swing. 1 degree of success.
Okay.
It's a hit. So I'm going to roll damage. 31 points of energy
Super
damage.
fucking dead. So the guy on your left jumps in between the blade. Takes the hit.
Cool. We're going to do the same thing again.
Okay.
It's driving me nuts. All right. I'm not going to burn all my fucking... I should be. Why the fuck am I rolling so many 80s?
Because you're in close
anyway.
quarters. You're in close quarters and you're
This
fucking
is where
huge.
I live.
But you're fucking huge and you're in
guess.
close quarters. I'm sorry.
My man's banging his sword off the
It
ceiling and the
feels-
wall. It's like not hitting anything.
It feels like this is one of those things where I'm like, if I'm getting cock blocked by drywall when I'm literally 10 foot tall in power armor, I'm a little pissed. You know what? I'm gonna burn one more. I'm gonna burn one more fate point. That'll leave me with
spend.
1 fate point remaining.
Spend.
I really want this. Say what? Spend. Yes,
Yeah.
spend. I really want to do this. I want this guy dead. Anyway, so. Yeah. actual pain. Why?
You roll well once
Oh,
this
man.
session, and then nothing.
He just got it out of the way early.
Okay.
That's all.
Daxan
All right,
dies with
that's
a
all I
whisper,
got, buddy.
not a yell.
There's nothing I can do.
No sound.
That's 3 points of fate in like 2 rounds. I should not need this. I'm literally.
Are we sure this isn't like Alfarius?
Are we?
Yes, like I'm weapon skill 61. Like who the fuck is this guy?
Are we sure that like Kane with Let the Galaxy Burn hasn't cursed us all?
That's not.
That might
That's
be
not provoking.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Oh.
Bon. Thank you for giving me back my ill-spent fucking fate.
That's very nice. Thank you, Bon.
Bon and Neris for Omni.
All right,
Oh, very nice.
Oh wow, yeah, 2 of them.
love you guys.
Why do you think I play Psyker? It's to guarantee I get a successful roll. I don't want to have that.
See, that's why I just hose everything in front of me with bolter fire. You know,
Yeah.
be a real Marine.
Whereas melee combat is good when it works. When it doesn't, it just feels bad.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true.
Sorry.
Yeah, no. In fairness, that's combat generally speaking. It's not a big deal. It is what it is. So that's my turn.
A lot of spinning your wheels in this game, and actual Warhammer.
Okay.
I mean, I literally can't re-roll something with fate more than once. So
Oh, and now you got
pretty sure
another
that's
fate
the
point.
rule, right?
You're topped off
At
again.
least-
Yo!
Oh, thank you.
Okay, so we're back up to the Jesus. Thank you, folks, for subsidizing my
Wait, no.
miserable ass rolls.
Not wait,
For pay.
maybe.
Aw.
I don't know.
Aww.
Oh, thank you.
So, the two soldiers are going to share one final look as if they've seen battle together over their lifetime. One of them is going to charge you and jump straight at you, buddy. I'm going to need an agility test.
You're making me roll dice.
Bro, you're just swatting
How dare
mosquitoes.
you?
It's not even that
2.7
bad.
degrees of success.
Hey.
Very
Nah,
good.
no, that's fine.
That is very, very good. Okay, so you can act in time to reduce some of this damage that's coming your way. Jesus Christ, that's a fucking massive blast radius.
It's explosives,
yeah,
man.
it's a blasting charge.
No, but I rolled for the
It's like
size of it. I rolled a d5. I rolled 4.
Oh.
The size is the kilograms times 3, so it's 12 meters.
Radius, right?
Yeah.
Is that before damage fall off, or is that absolute?
It is absolute.
Oh,
Okay.
My God,
Yeah,
you
that
got the
sounds about
biggest
right.
fucking debt pack. Jesus Christ.
4
That is-
kilos?
that's how
just
it
about
works,
10
man.
pounds.
And if you've ever seen like Imperial Guard strategy on the battlefield, I hate to say it, but for about the better part of 5 years, their only viable strategy with infantry was to go, here's 5 dudes in a chimera, and one of them has a debt pack, and none of them are gonna live. They're just here to blow up one thing really fucking hard. So this tracks. This absolutely tracks.
I'm really glad that you passed that there agility test.
Me too.
So, you know what? This is a Derek fuck up. That should have been a dodge roll in the future.
Oh.
That should have been a dodge roll
Okay.
as a reaction, not an agility test. I misread what this said, but who cares? You are taking half of that instead. It does not have a pen listed, which leads me to believe that it does not.
Okay. So 27 divided by half.
Yeah.
All right. If it's where in my body is it hitting me? Because that is relevant now.
I would probably have to say chest. He's jumping straight at you.
Okay. All right. Again, Daxan takes no damage. Soak of 19 base.
Ooh, that's nice.
Yeah.
The feeble little makeshift debt pack did not smolder you, but there's no shot his buddy got out of the way from that blast in time. So there's just a
I kind of
hallway.
like the idea that I kind of like the idea that this guy leapt at Daxan, and his reaction for agility wasn't to get out of the way. It was this guy leapt at him, and he just full-on haymakers him back the direction he came into his buddy.
Yeah, there's like just smoked like bits of meat that are still in the hallway. It is about.
He's going to turn around to the.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. What are you saying?
I was going to say it is about. I mean, I assume that Dietrich is coming in through one of the windows.
I actually wanted to ask to do something on my journey towards the hospital, and I will send that to you as a DM.
Okay, very good.
There you go.
Okay, so let me resolve this with Omni real quick, and then we'll pivot over to
Sure.
that.
All right. So Daxan's armor, I imagine, is just scorched all the fuck up on the front. Even if it didn't breach it, it's still probably like all black and sooty and gross in the front. And he's probably kind of annoyed as he looks down to see is like his tabard coated in ash and now people parts. And he's just going to turn towards the door, look down the hallway to see if anyone else is coming, and take his power sword and just shunk into the door and start trying to cut through it.
Okay, that's a perfect point for us to pivot over to Dietrich. So,
Cool.
Go ahead and make an awareness check for me, buddy. You can tell chat what you're trying to do here if you'd like.
Where is that? There we go. So while I'm flying, basically, like in the last session, in case you missed 2 weeks ago, I was tasked with basically searching for like just a general layout of the city, and that's how I found out that there was a small horde of traders on the attack for some reason. And as I'm flying back, I'm looking down on the city again, and I am looking to see like if there's anyone who's in immediate danger from the apparent earthquake that's being caused by the rising monolith. I rolled a 100.
You rolled a
I'm
100.
gonna use one of my fate points and re-roll that because we're all rolling in it, so might as well. That is a success.
Okay. So what you see, Dietrich, as you are flying back is a great number of troops that are being yelled at Vox free by their commanders. Those Maccabean Janissaries in the opposite side. You were at the parade grounds. They were at the training fields, headed towards the monolith. You can see from where you are a great number of flashlights, as you call them, flashing either towards or from said monolith. And you can even see off in the distance already armor being deployed towards the center of the city. The civilians, everybody near the cenotaph itself, there's no telling what's going on down there right now. It's smoke, it's ash, it's debris. All you can see is some kind of meager firefight.
So they're headed. So it looks like so what you're saying is there's a group that's headed towards the center of the city that was allied to the group that I was fighting against just now.
No, the Maccabean Janissaries are
Gotcha.
On the side of the Emperor's forces, but to the best of your knowledge. But yeah, they're all moving towards the cenotaph. They probably got some last bit of something on the Vox that they were listening to already, and they're all headed that way, being deployed by word of mouth rather than electronics.
I'm going to try to communicate that to Helicoprion over the Vox and continue on my flight towards the hospital. And I know like roughly like where Daxon is in the hospital, right?
Yeah, he told you pretty much exactly where he was last session.
Cool. I'm planning to like just fly through a wall towards him.
Very good. Okay. I think this is probably going to be the ideal time for our first break. So don't go anywhere, folks. We're going to get right back here with more Kill Team Last Bastion. Welcome back, folks. Thank you all so very much for patiently waiting. I surely do appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying yourselves. So, I think it's fairly safe to say that given Dietrich took his jetpack, he's probably going to arrive to the hospital floor first because Helicoprion did not tell me that he took off with his jetpack, unless you want to do so.
I'm shadowing Tsugen, so unless I can drag his heavy ass with me, no.
I do not think that jump packs are powerful enough to carry two Astartes, but I could be mistaken there. At that point, then, I will say that we come back across Dietrich, as he put it, just kind of breaking through an openish, not open window, but like a, glass steel window, just breaking through it blade first.
I
On
like
the
to
floor.
imagine that quickly sheath the chainsword, and then with the mechanical arm, just literally punch my way through.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, absolutely. With your gene-enhanced strength and your Astartes power armor, and your cybernetically enhanced hand, you tear through the glass steel window about halfway up the Primaris Citadel itself, where down the hall you can see a smoldering Daxan, still charred with black all across the front, like somebody just took a brush and painted him like a miniature with like coal black acrylic. Power sword.
Who dry brushed Daxan with Chaos Black? Unfucking acceptable.
You said this to the two miniature painters? Really?
Brother, are you all right? I'll fetch the Nuln Oil.
I thought that they would be the most evocative if I said it to you.
Perfect. I love it.
Yeah. So just tearing down the door to the cordoned off section of the hospital wing. Or rather into the hospital wing itself, I should say.
I look to him, I look at him like, firecracker just went off like in a kid's face, that kind of thing. Just kind of like that blackened soot look. Daxan.
Dietrich, could you assist me with this? It appears as if someone inside decided it was a good idea to cross an Astartes.
One moment. I walk over, I'm just gonna like
Please,
literally just tear the door open.
I'd say that between the two of you, that's enough to circumvent any sort of roll. Okay, between the two of you, you tear the door down, and
I have an effective strength of 77 on this. Between the two of us, it should be done.
Jesus
I've been
Christ.
lightsabering my way through the front of this as long as I can, so I imagine it's probably not very secure at this point.
That's a fair assessment. You see a bloodbath on the other side. You see slaughtered hospital staff. You see the two serfs that you had told to watch over the Inquisitor and the Lord General splayed out in the doorways to their respective suites. You see the Lord General with his head completely charred over from a hotshot lass at close range. And the Inquisitor with the laser rifle right over her head as you break down the door. The guardsman looks across at you like gas mask covering and everything, because again, this is Tempestus Scion.
I charge.
Oh yeah, no, full tilt.
Let's go ahead and roll
the second
initiative
that
here.
door opens. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Let's do it. Let's absolutely smash this dude. Let's see. Initiative is D6 plus.
It's a D10 plus your agility. Plus your agility modifier.
Okay. Gotcha. 11.
He goes first.
Motherfucker.
Son of a bitch.
I should have re-rolled that. I know. I rolled a 3. It's too late now.
Instead of re-rolling, you could literally
Sorry.
just spend a fate point to take a 10 on
Alright.
initiative.
Would that put me ahead of him?
Yeah, that put you at 16. He's at 12.
Could I do that though? Like, would you let me do that? Is the
It-
question.
I don't know if it's retroactive. I'd have to
Yeah.
look.
Let's see what the book says. If it
Well,
lets
okay,
you
I've got it pulled up right
hang on.
now.
Hang on a
Okay.
second. Tell you what. If it's not retroactive, I'm willing to, because it's the Inquisitor, right?
Mhm.
We need her. Wait, we can't do it retroactively? Okay, cool.
It can be used on your turn or in reaction to another character's actions. It's a
Cool,
free
'cause I was-
action, so I can't see a reason why you can't just be like, you know what?
So like I was so I'm good to do that. I'll mark off the fate point now. I was gonna say that if I couldn't do it, I would be willing to like burn a fate point, as in permanently reduce my threshold from 3 to 2.
That is very
'Cause
bold.
It's the Inquisitor.
That I would say that would be one of those opportunities where I would have given you the opportunity to do that. But we don't have to do that. Thank you, Soul. Appreciate it, buddy.
In the rules, baby.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Soul's rules, more
Yeah.
like.
So you can
Uh,
hear the whine of the hot shot Dietrich as you go first there.
Cool. I am gonna literally like before I even have the ability, like the thrusters on my jump pack roar to life as I literally like cleave my way through a table, like just push straight through one. The chainsword at my hip is revving before it even has a chance to hit my hands, and I'm going to go ahead and make my attack roll, and I get a bonus to this because I'm charging
Ooh.
like a
yes.
boss.
Hell yeah.
It's a plus 10 bonus, I believe.
Yes, that is correct. Full action.
Which, yes. So and because I have a exceptionally crafted chainsword, that makes it a plus 15 total. That is 5 degrees of success.
Yeah!
Wow. Oh my god. Okay, yeah.
Satisfaction.
And because this is a tearing weapon, I get to roll twice and take the better damage.
Oh, fantastic.
Which that's going to be 28 with pen 4.
How do you kill this guy?
I imagine that like I literally run
Nice.
up to him and I just run him through the back with the chainsword as it just carves straight up into him, and gore and viscous bits and blood spatters over the Inquisitor's unconscious body. As I pick him up, the chainsword stops, and I just grab him by the head and tear his lifeless corpse off the chainsword.
Interesting.
Interesting. That's not good. Oh, he's
And then
rolling
he
off
looks
screen.
away and roll. That's fucking okay.
Interesting.
Oh.
We see
What does that mean?
we see the eyes of the Inquisitor flutter open as the blood and viscera, as you put it, splatters over her. Can I have awareness rolls from Daxane and Dietrich, please?
Oh dear.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Sugan and Helicoprion are off getting ice cream. Do 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 do.
I failed,
I love pistachio.
24 degrees of success. I have a natural 1.
but I'm not going to reroll because I rolled a 69, and that's too much fun to not.
That's fair.
Nice.
I'm an actual child. Yes.
You're good, buddy. I got a nat 1. I think we're okay.
You see Daxan through your diagnoster helms. You immediately register the massive spikes of cortisol flowing through the Inquisitor's body. You see visually both the arteries on her neck thrumming red. You can see her levitating off of the table.
I was really hoping that wasn't the case.
She looks to
Daxan.
the two of you. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Say your thing.
She looks to the two of you. Says very, very weakly, I think that someone's trying to kill me. And we're going to pivot over to Helicoprion and Sugan.
Pistachio is the superior ice cream.
I agree. I think we can agree, brother. Finally, something we can
I
agree on.
literally have the image of just the two of them and like the only ice cream cart that's not toppled over. Like the guy who's managing is probably on fire like 30 feet to the right, but they're just like eating the ice cream cones while the rest of it's just on fire. Like it's the only thing that's like ideal.
And it is green, the superior color.
Yeah, we're hauling ass to the hospital.
Yeah, it's about this time that you see the broken and las-riddled bodies of heaps of traitor guardsmen littered throughout the entirety of the lower sectors in the Primaris Citadel. One of the commissars that you have personally read a report on, Helicoprion, you said you were collecting data.
Oh yeah.
You register this as Commissar Eve. She has displayed herself immaculately throughout her service to the Emperor. She's executed mission after mission successfully. She's had a number of high casualty rate missions, but she gets the job done, and nobody really has anything ill to say about her from what you've read. She looks to you, salutes, giving the sign of the Aquila, and asks for a moment of your time.
Is it just her, or does she have troops as well?
They're not like around her. She walked away from them when she heard the clank, 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 clank.
All right. Yep. Pivot. Stare her down.
She says, forgive my intrusions. I know that you must be busy, but you should know something. There have been reports that we were not meant to see. Black armored Astartes, not like you. They bore the cross. We saw them leaving on a gunship, heading toward the... It was hard to tell, but we think south.
When?
This was not 20 minutes ago, right when the fighting kicked off.
What is your post?
Currently, we are refreshing our troop rate before we head off back on the Achilles Crusade. I have been training new recruits. We were out with the Maccabian Janissaries when everything kicked off. Those lot are overzealous. They immediately charged into the fighting. I took stock and got my recruits to cover. She looks to, like, behind her. They did all right. You can see that there's only a few of them that are really wounded.
Helicoprion will pivot and look at Sugan. There's a sense of a question there.
What? Just like look at you. Hey.
What was her rank?
Commissar Captain.
Commissar Captain Eve.
Yep.
Sugan of the Salamanders. You will follow him.
Of course.
They're yours. That to Sugan.
And what am I supposed to do? I am taking orders from you.
Helicoprion's thoughts here are, these are soldiers. They're currently not attached to any particular posting. They're not essential for the defense of the city. They're available here. They're in our path. The Emperor provides. We take them with us. We need more guns. And also, Sugan's going to be happier if he's got someone to watch out for.
What? Sugan's in like disbelief right now. That's why he's acting so like aloof. It's because the idea is just like, you're asking me to look after people. Like, usually you want me to kill them. I'm just.
What's your goal here?
Yeah, if they can keep up, and they're going to have to keep up. We can use extra troops to reinforce the hospital until we can acquire the Inquisitor and get the fuck off this planet. That's my plan. Helicoprion will put it a little bit more bluntly. They're useful. And they're yours.
And I will assure their safety, it says. He turned towards him.
I just imagine you as like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Kindergarten Cop.
Walks out, claps Necron dad 3 to 4 times in front of the school. Teacher applauds in the distance.
She bows to you, making the sign of the Aquila once more, and she says, "It will be an honor to serve alongside the Astartes."
He just smiled, like, at least something's going my way today. So we have her. Are all the other soldiers in front of her? I wasn't clear on that.
Yeah, all the soldiers that are around in this general vicinity are belonging to her.
Okay. I'm imagining their morale is not very great.
I imagine their morale is fucking really great right fucking now. They just saw 2 Space Marines. They're probably fucking turgid with morale.
They just came off a dub too. They just like defended the lower sector to the best of their knowledge. Like they suffered minimal casualties, and now they're going to be following a Space Marine. You see them like to the best of what an Imperial citizen can do, smiling.
So
These
I
are
appreciate
recruits
your
too, right?
So
What's
I
that?
appreciate your use of the word turgid.
I mean, I'm not going to be like all limp-wristed and detumescent.
Oof.
Oh my god.
I mean,
Is it the name of a band from the 90s or like
Limp-wristed and detumescent? Pretty much, yeah.
Tattoo Messin? Yeah.
Yeah, so you were asking if there were recruits. Most of them, yeah, there's a couple. And when I say couple, I mean like maybe like 10 of them are like old veterans that have survived under the Commissar's campaigns that she's been sent on. But most of them are fresh-faced new recruits.
Man, fucking think about that story that they're going to be able to tell if they live and ever see their families again. Or anyone outside of the Death Watch.
Assuming their minds are left intact if they do.
Assuming that the Inquisition doesn't declare exterminatus.
There's a lot of includings.
And it's shame.
But if they get out of here, man, it's going to be a great story.
Well, I was gonna say I'd like to make a fellowship test, but since they're already so high in morale, I don't know how much.
Fucking do it anyways. Oh,
Yeah,
Make a good impression.
you get a +10. You got no helmet.
I got a +5.
Fuck.
I got a +5 to command tests, but Sugan's not really commanding. He's just like trying to be friendly. Let's see. So fellowship +5. I just need to roll below a 50. Please? For once? Oh no. Alright, let's spend one of my many fate points. I have many. There we go.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
29. Sugan's gonna look over to Helicoprion and look at him and be like, you are. I say this with good intention, but you are very intimidating. Could you perhaps give us a moment?
I'll fire up the jump pack and just scoot like 30 meters.
Imagine you just go straight up out of camera. Just like, thank you. Anyway.
I must go. The Emperor needs me. Swoosh.
Jihan, thank you for the gift subs,
Hey,
dude.
Jihan, what's up, bud?
Hey,
Yeah, what's up?
Thank you,
Love
buddy.
you, buddy.
Hey.
Much love, man. Thank you so much. Love you.
Ah, yes. Well, the children of the Emperor. It gesture to the normal people who we just referred to as the children of the Emperor.
They all like get up from where they were like minding their posts and whatnot, and they make their way over, knowing that you're about to address them.
Seeing as you did so well by yourselves, I do not think that my presence will be needed, but I will assure you that I will not let a single one of you be killed whilst I am here, lest I die first.
They look to each other like, "Whoa, holy shit! He just said he's gonna die for us. Like, what the fuck?"
I, Sugan, librarian of the 18th Salamanders, as you may know, will stand this ground until I die. And I will assure you that every single one of you will survive.
They are kind of blown away by what you tell them. Like, it is beyond understanding for a citizen of the Imperium, a normal average mortal, to hear the words that you're speaking as one of the Emperor's avenging angels. And I think probably some of them are like, they're fresh-faced green new recruits. I remember what I was like when I was in the military like that. Like they're overwhelmed with emotion. I think some of them, like the younger guys, are probably kind of like crying a little bit when you tell them that.
Oh,
Spill no tears for me yet, brothers and sisters, for I still yet live.
They with renewed vigor, they pick up their las rifles and they all give you a salute. And I think probably just out of, like respect and probably culture, go down to one knee. The commissar included at the head of them.
Sugan likes making friends.
That's fair. Yeah, I think that's probably a good point for us to pivot over. Helicoprion, and are you going to Daxian and Dietrich, or are you waiting for Sugan?
I bounced backwards to cover the rear so that Sugan could have his time. I wasn't advancing towards hospital.
Okay, I misunderstood.
No problem. As I see things like resolving, I'll scoot back up, wave them forward, and I'll tell Sugan I'm taking point. And
Very well.
We're going to move towards the hospital. I will be ranging further ahead, but I will also be very willing to fade back. We're going to be making use of the extra firepower if we need to. But really, I'm looking to move as quickly to the hospital as possible, secure the Inquisitor, get off planet. That's the goal.
Fantastic.
And it's actually like those are the two priorities. If getting off planet means, like, if I have to choose between getting the Inquisitor and getting off planet, we're gonna hole up on the planet. It sucks, but that's priority.
That is fair. So as you guys are making your way to leave, the guardsmen stay where they are. The commissar commanding them back to their posts to mind any more intruders. We can go ahead and just screen wipe to Sugan and Helicoprion. And Daxan and Dietrich having a fun little reunion there with the Inquisitor, who's
Yo, damn, Jihan, what's up?
Jihan, holy shit, dude, what the fuck?
holy
God
cannoli,
damn,
my
there
we go.
brother.
Sorry.
My brother in imperial truth.
Holy fuck,
Like,
dude.
Well, damn.
Thank you so much, man. Oh my god, bro.
dude, hell yeah.
Love you, dude. Thank you.
Well earned. Well earned, buddy.
Sorry, damn. Going crazy, buddy.
You're good, man. You're good. Breathe it in.
Yeah, so she's composed herself. She has, for the most part, the psionic energy that was burning off of her has since receded, and she is kind of like with her head up and her eyes closed. She opens them and says, "Good, you're here," looking to Helicoprion and Sugan.
Sugan just smiles.
Uh,
I'm glad to see that you are doing well. That is reassuring.
Daxane and Dietrich, she has not said a
That's-
word to you since she... Sorry, go ahead.
I don't know. It's all right. No, you're good. I mean, I keep doing
Fuck
that. I'm
you.
so fucking sorry. Daxan would have the second she woken up, like, he knows she's a psyker. Shit happens. It's weird. It's disconcerting. It's not always a good thing. He was immediately the second she woke up, like, at her side, checking her vitals. Like, he's basically been looking over diagnostic screenings. So she can do whatever she wants, but Daxan's, like, right now at bedside, just relentlessly scanning to make sure that she's as fine as an Inquisitor is.
Oh, she's standing.
Okay. He would literally be following her, not but half a foot away. It's almost like she has a surgical suite following her on legs as she's doing this.
Yeah.
So
She hasn't said
he's
anything.
very in his work.
Seeing the remainder, she says, I believe that my agent is currently rearmoring herself. She will catch up with us in her own time. As for you, this planet is too valuable. I can feel the urge to leave it. I can feel like a caged animal being put over an open flame. But this is our flame to burn in. She looks directly at you, Helicoprion. Forget not your part.
Daxan spares a moment to look up from his optics to look over to Helicoprion and her. Makes a little mental note of that exchange for later. How does she look, like, medically speaking?
Nominal.
Okay. Daxan lowers his gauntlet. The mechadendrites on his back retract. Bill of clean health. As clean as it can be. And he sort of steps back a couple of feet. I know what poisoned you. If you wish to know it.
She turns her face to look at you.
An Astartes toxin. Very specific. Employed by us for assassinations and similar things. I can't tie it to a chapter, not definitively, but it is of Astartes manufacture, most assuredly. You're lucky to be alive. The Lord Governor appeared to have been hypnotized into performing the assassination attempt on you, or manipulated accidentally, and he appears to have paid the price. Sorry, Lord General. He would know better. His intelligence is much higher than Jake's. So.
The dead guy, he found out. He fucked around.
he did find out.
She says, I see. Well, that would certainly limit down the number of foes we might be facing here.
I point off in the direction of the monolith and I go, I think we found what Vincent was looking for.
Yeah, thank you, because Helicoprion was just about to be like, shit's on fire, yeah. Like, whole fucking planet
This is a great reunion, but gestures to everything on fire.
She looks to the structure out the window seeing it pulsing with this green energy. Do you feel that, Sugan? That null. As if nothing is spreading.
Can I make a science check?
Yeah.
I was gonna say these gosh darn Necrons, they don't got no psychic phase.
Nope.
That's a
No, they
6.
have something worse. Psychic-like powers. And it's very
Oh, and the Kurtan.
Pariahs.
Mm-hmm. Pariah Nexus.
I think I drove one of those once.
It's true.
2003 Pariah Nexus.
I'm sorry.
It's fucking funny.
I just want to see a bunch of fucking Necron vehicles in like early 2000s vehicles now. It's amazing.
My other car is a Pariah Nexus.
Oh, that'd be gross.
It's funny.
Oh, God.
What she says is true. You can feel the nothing spreading, as if a whole region is just getting blanketed. What you would normally be feeling is like, I mean, you'd be expecting to feel a huge amount of psionic outburst as mass people are being killed from the city collapsing beneath them into a rather large crater-like thing that you are able to see from this distance. You don't get anything.
I feel nothing.
She nods.
I feel nothing. He'd not like he was emphasizing that. Like, I'm not just saying that, being like, I don't got shit. I'm saying like I feel that there is a nothing coming.
She nods again, like as if understanding your meaning. It's going to get worse. Karlak is too valuable of a planet to the Achilles Crusade. There is no other world around here that can sustain the amount of transit and trajectory and life that this planet does. That's what makes it unique here. We cannot afford to lose it. If it takes all of our lives, then we must be willing to pay that.
Inquisitor, is the ship prepared?
Repaired.
Prepared.
Prepared. Would it be prepared in such a short amount of time? I feel like it would take... Does anybody know off the top of their head how long it takes in dock for an Imperial ship? I'm going to probably say no. It's probably going to take at least a couple more days. I feel like
I think they might be
day
able
that
to
you
push
can
it,
hear.
but it would be risky.
It varies. It wildly varies depending on damage and that sort of thing. Like, if
ship
it's
wasn't
minor
damaged.
repairs, yeah, if that's the case. And if it's like prepping a ship to leave, it can, again, like you're probably right, like days or two. It seems like a lot of Imperial ships don't really need to refuel or anything. They run on massive fusion reactors. Like, what they feed into them is kind of almost unnecessary. It's really what they usually need to leave. This is going to be rough, but it's true. Serfs. The thing Imperial ships need more than anything is lots of disposable people to shove into its bowels, because even operating the reactors in that ship, they don't really believe in radiation shielding in those lower levels.
Which leads me to the only thing I could think of that would get you prepared quicker, which would be to put a couple of those serfs on a little bit of a run into that reactor to jumpstart it. It is, as you said earlier, it is a bit risky, but it happens all the time.
Yeah. So, yeah. Well, at least we don't have any damage to repair. That can take literally decades to fix. So, good on us for not having to deal with that.
I think she would convey as much to you. in shorter
Helicopter's
words.
going to do something stupid then. Respectfully, Inquisitor Quist.
Oh boy.
That's our job. You have been wounded gravely. It would be best for you to board the ship and report to the Empire the dire situation on this planet.
You
I'm gonna
can't
ask for
see this.
Go
You
ahead.
can't see this, but Dietrich like arches an eyebrow under his helmet at you.
I'm going to ask for 2 checks from you here, Helicoprion. I'm going to ask
Mhm,
for
go
a
for it.
fellowship check first.
I am spending a point of fate beforehand to get plus 10.
Okay.
Smart.
I would say I could see this as being charm, but I don't think it would make a difference.
I'm going to re-roll.
Okay. Damn it, dude.
Motherfucker.
Sorry. I would also like an awareness test, please.
Sure thing. Got that one.
So she hears the words that you say. She hears the wisdom in them. And she remains unmoved. And you see something on there, Helicoprion. You see something right like on the surface that she is pushing down, looking, scrambling for arguments other than, no, we're supposed to throw our lives away in futility because it's the right thing to do. She looks very overwhelmed for the briefest of moments before she gathers herself once again and says, I cannot allow Karlak to be destroyed. Not without answers. And something clicks in your head, Helicoprion. Something that it's really weird for it to click in your head, of all things here, or of all people here, I should say. But you register something particularly mortal about these petty concerns. You register something like love and concern overwhelming her sense of duty.
Respectfully, Inquisitor, you have been gravely wounded, and Glory is dead. Someone needs to return with the authority to inform the Empire.
What would you have us do, Helicoprion? Leave the world.
Out of character, I'm glad that I just didn't have to shoot her, because the gravely wounded was one way or another, you're going to have that excuse.
That's funny.
We really are the last Bastion.
I will straight shoot an Inquisitor to get them off the planet. Don't think I fucking won't.
Oh, I
I
believe you.
do love the idea that last Bastion, everyone we come across, everyone, we're the only ones left. It's like every battle report, like, how is it that you managed to have a 3,000% casualty rate compared to other Space Marine kill teams for every engagement? And meanwhile, we're just like, soaked in the blood of all our allies. It happens.
Sugan's just like, I have nothing to do with this. I'm the only one in this entire group that doesn't want to kill people.
We have Commissar Captain Eve. We have Sugan. We have Daxan. We have Dietrich. We will get you to the ship. You will board the ship, leave, and we will hold Karlak. You will inform the Empire, and we will get relief forces faster that way. Bluntly put, Inquisitor. He points out the window, the shattered remnants of the city being sucked into the maw of a Necron crypt rising from the abyss. 4 Space Marines and an Inquisitor will not be enough. I do request, however, respectfully, leave the Sister of Battle.
Can I invoke my personal demeanor and make a willpower test to see if I remain stoic?
Ooh,
Are you
it's been
gonna
another
start
hour.
laughing?
May I?
Uh-huh.
It's been an hour, so yeah.
Sure. That's a success. I put my hand on her shoulder.
She looks down at this massive gauntlet that's like the size of her.
Her
Upper
entire
quarter.
shoulder. I
Yeah.
pull off the helmets, and there's just a look at this stoic expression on his face as he looks down at her, but there's like a deep sadness in Dietrich's eyes. What can you do here now? Just go. You'll find your answers.
She sees the same affirmative expression on all of your faces or Vox grills. And
She's my face.
do everything that you can.
It's fine. It's just my toes.
This happens to you like every stream.
Every time. What was it that time? Oh, okay. That's fine. It's cool. Continue. Sorry, Derek.
You're good, buddy. She goes, do everything that you can. If you must sell your lives, sell them as dearly as possible, but remain alive for as long as you can. What happens on this planet might have great impact on things to come. Get me to my ship.
I put on the helmet, pick her up.
Let's go.
Axan nods and retracts his arm. He's been sort of typing silently on his Narcithium the whole time. Indeed. After all, if you're not on the ship, how can we parse the data? And his arms sort of retract and click back, blade out in his hand, ready to go.
It is at this point that Vox connections come back very faintly. You see the channels lighting up. If you cycle through them, it's trying their best to make a sorted battle net. Sit reps being exchanged, orders being given. What you can gather is there is massive casualties going on in the center of the city. And Dietrich, you can even see this taking place. That armor that I described being deployed earlier, it is firing in full force. You can see Executor pattern Lehman Rooses with their massive plasma barrels just launching their barrages. And you see something in the smoke, in the haze, lit up by one of these light blue blasts of plasma. It looks so wrong, as if it's a rib cage torn from a giant, covered in metal, and suspending itself. It rises above the smoke for just a moment. And in that moment, we can hear the comms net that Helicoprion, Daxan, and Sugan are listening to of a tank commander. 3, 4, and then a massive stream of green unlight beam towards that Lehman Roos. And we do not see what happens to it.
Goddamn gorgeous.
Helicoprion, what are you doing while Dietrich is running the Inquisitor back to her ship?
Look, a quick apology at Sugan, because I was hoping to pack his battle buddies on there as well, but this is the most expeditious route. And then I'm going to pin down Daxan.
All right. Yeah, no, Daxan would turn to face you. No resistance. Yes, brother.
Just with a cold demeanor and a casual, like, very slow sweep of the hand, he encompasses the room. He can see that this has been a shit show, that there are loyalists here that were just absolutely brutalized, that you were looking over the Inquisitor. And every line of him just asks one question. What the fuck?
Daxan turns and looks around the room. It appears as if your rebellion lives here. In the hallway, you'll find a large crater. You walked past it. It's all that remains of the last to attack this place. But one managed to bolt himself in. We were lucky we got to the Inquisitor in time, were it not for Dietrich's assistance. What's left of that traitor, as he gestures to the wall of the surgical suite, and I imagine the fantastic Banksy you've turned this person into on the wall.
Beautiful imagery.
Just perfect. Just gestures to him. This is all that remains of the treason. The guard can't be trusted whatsoever. I can't speak of the Macabian Janissaries, but I can speak at very least of... And he sort of just struggles for a second. The stormtroopers. Even their ranks have been breached.
Helmet swivels slowly away from you and towards Sugan.
Zugan looks like he wants to say a bunch of things.
I bet.
But he just doesn't. He just opens his mouth over and over again and closes it. And he just shakes his head and looks out the window. No, not sort of actually kind of way, but I'm trying to find words for how devastated I am, kind of way. And he just purses his lips and looks out the window and sees all this horrible shit happening. And he points. I should be out there.
Daxan walks across the distance and puts his hand on your pauldron. Brother, enough have died needlessly here.
You are right.
The people of this planet are
needlessly.
mortals. I know. The people of this planet are mortals. They are not like us. They are not gene-forged into loyalty.
He's going to push you away. Speak for yourself. They are like us. We are humanity. We are Emperor's children, every single one of us.
He sort of stands back on the back foot and he holds his hand up. Brother, I say this to their credit. They are not like us. But it doesn't matter. We'll do what we can to protect them. But their service is to the Emperor, as is ours, is it not? Every person in this room, and he gestures around it, swore themselves to the Emperor's creed. Their deaths are on my hands. I shouldn't have been so lenient. I should have denied those soldiers access. That is a judgment call I made, and a poor one at that. Sometimes mercy's not mercy. But I don't think you're wrong. But we must spend our lives where they are best spent. These people will likely all die anyhow. Let's at least make their sacrifice meaningful.
They will not die if I can help it. And Sukin's going to go to leave the room.
As you reach the door, Helicoprion's cold voice will come over. Commissar Eve and her troops. Be sure of them, or I will be.
We are from very different chapters, brother. I do things very differently than you. You see people as pawns. Yes, I understand this. And I do not judge you for it, brother, as you are predisposed to such thinking. But I shall ask you in return not to judge me.
Brother, I do not judge you. Your actions are all the judge. I am giving you my trust and my faith. Because for anyone else, I would not rely on them to be sure of traitors.
He just gives you a long look for a moment before turning his volcanic eyes away.
He's not asking you to kill him. He's asking you to be sure of them, or he will be. That's the choice. They're yours. They're your problem. You make sure of it.
He seemed to understand what you meant. He may be a little thick at times, but he's not, like,
I mean, you're
completely
thick for a
stupid.
transhuman, right?
Yeah, I'm a
Oh, he
doctor,
probably
baby. I'm fucking huge. I'm ripped.
You would pick up, though, that Daxon, you're not getting a scrap of leniency on that. Like, you did fuck that. You did fuck that one up bad.
Oh, absolutely.
It's very.
You heard him basically just straight up be like, "No, I fucked that one." Like,
So it's very clear that Sukin doesn't like standing around because he's been fidgeting and like doing all sorts of other little things to like show that I don't like standing around talking. And he's walking outside. But as you are free to join me unless you wish to keep talking. I know I am the one that is notorious for talking too much, but I can't help but feel that the reverse is true at the moment. Says you heard him clonk, clonk, clonk down the hallway as fast as he could.
I hope you're out there telepathing the shit out of those fucking Imperial Guard.
Yeah, I'm getting our secondary objective. You know, I'm doing our second interrogation.
psychic ritual.
Don't worry, we will get 15 points by the end of this game. Mark my words.
Yeah, from there we're waiting on sit reps from Dietrich. Who's got the most powerful Vox? We're all equipped with the same shit. All right, that sucks.
You might go for a hard line
Unfortunately,
in the Citadel.
unfortunately, probably me because I'm bouncing around so much, but I'm also not there. You and me have the highest mobility, Helicarpion.
Oh, I was saying Vox. Like, who's got the best signal? Because
Yeah.
we're being jammed right now.
Actually,
You
might be
might.
able to help with that. And that's because Daxan took the comm off the officer earlier and has access to their BattleNet infrastructure.
In which case, Helicoprion will turn to Daxan and coldly tell you, wait here for Dietrich to return. He will serve as a relay between the front forces and the back line.
Roger, Battle Brother.
And I will follow Sugan.
Very good.
I'd rather see the reason why they made Rogel Doran tags.
Bottomless.
They have no
They're
bottom.
I was literally about to say, but they're a little hollow.
Gets sweaty and all that armor.
So, Dietrich, it takes you the better part of 10 minutes to fly from the Primaire Citadel to the ship hangar. And
I am being somewhat gentle with my maneuvering.
that's fair. In that amount of time, you don't see too much more from the center of the city. What you do see is a lot of stuff deploying, a lot more being called up. You arrive to the outside of the hangar itself, where the Inquisitor uses her ID print to, or rather her rosette to access the hangar doors. And as they open, she says, you can set me down now, thank you.
Like, once again, I take off my helmet, look down at her. We will find out what happened here.
I can't allow this. I can't allow what's happened. My pride demands vengeance. And you are sending me away. She kind of straightens herself. I don't know if I'll ever forgive you, Astartes, but you're a damn fine lot. I'm honored to serve with you.
We're doing our duty. And duty to the Emperor only has one end. Mortal or Astartes.
She nods, and with that, she walks into the hangar, the doors beginning to close behind her. She turns on her heel, and one last thing before the doors close, she says, if you see him, save him.
With that, I put my helmet back on. I take a look at both of my swords, and along the chain sword, you see the word Foe Eater kind of engraved into the casing of the chain sword. But along the pommel of the power sword, it says Halcyon. Guess we are really going to see better days. Sheath them, full burn. Take back off.
Yeah. I'd say that you're going to be arriving back to the Citadel before Sugan's going to be done psionically interrogating all of the guardsmen for sure.
Yeah. I'll like casually ping over the box to Helicoprion as a kind of way figuring out where he is, and then landing by him for my next orders.
You'd probably be intercepted by Daxan, who's currently my comms officer extraordinaire.
Cool. I'll land by Daxan then.
Yep, you would probably get pinged, and he would indicate the spot where you landed as the entry point, like, land here. Here being auxiliary landing station. Auxiliary landing station code for hole in the fucking wall you made.
There's a hole moments later.
Oh,
Second hole in the wall.
Yeah.
to raise a suggestion.
There's a hole in
Thank
the
you
wall
for the
where the
sub.
brains are.
Thank you for the resub, second class elitist. Much
Hey,
love, dude.
hello.
Much appreciated.
Thank you. Inquisitor is safe.
Good. Daxam just sort of slowly turns to look around the rest of the room. I figure he's still in the chamber at the moment, in what's left of the apothecary, and closing up shop, metaphorically speaking. Like going through, grabbing all the medical records he can, especially off the Lord, especially the one from the Lord General. He's taking that, and he's folding that into his personal pouch. He wants to study that later. There's something with the Lord General that isn't sitting right with him. And if he has access to his blood records and his treatment, you might be able to see if he was perhaps altered in some other way as well. And he slowly turns around. I'm grateful. A lot of people died to protect that woman. Unfortunately.
I look towards Helicoprion. We should take command of the local PDF. They're getting slaughtered out there. Have them retreat to the Citadel.
Actually, I don't think, is Helicoprion still here, or did he leave?
Oh, I came
You went with
you,
Sugan,
Helicoprion.
right?
I said I went with Sugan, but if we want to change it around, I'm not averse to a retcon.
No, I mean, I just
Sure.
want to know where. Like, I mean, well, here's the thing. If I'm here and you have the communications relay of the officer, then I can just tell him through you.
True.
Yeah.
So, like,
So,
no
yeah,
record.
Daxam would patch you in.
Helicoprion would reply. We are securing loyal PDF forces immediately. Sugan's troops.
Have them retreat.
Advise me. Why?
So above table, Dietrich has not fought these enemies before. His knowledge of Necrons is probably limited to what the average member of the Death Watch would know. So I don't know where that is. Probably not a lot. Like
It's 817. They don't know shit.
Yep, fair enough. We don't know.
The reference is knowing a little bit.
There's 2 reports that I can think of off the top of my
Yeah.
head. That
So
I
like
remember
like I
right
said, like he wouldn't know a ton. But Dietrich has been in sieges before where it's like, oh, we're really outgunned right now, and we kept deploying and it did not go well. So I think that he would frame it as we're overextending. We need to consolidate our forces. It's wasteful.
Consolidation is what I have in mind, though not a retreat.
Shall I make contact with the tank divisions? I can get eyes on our enemy.
Contact, yes. Hold for now. Do not engage. We need
Understood.
control of the situation. I'm waiting for Sugan's reply. We need a loyal cohort that we can trust. There are too many traitors amongst too many of the forces here. I only trust Sugan to be able to detect who is and is not reliable.
Understood. Observe. Return.
By his word, they live or they die.
Dietrich takes off and he heads towards he heads towards where he just saw Nick get a tank get fucking obliterated.
Godspeed, man.
I'll be joining you soon.
I think as Dietrich flies off, Daxon's just going to reach down, and I imagine after the thrust of that jump pack lifting off, there's probably like a couple like flickering pieces of like burning paper there.
I mean, there's also a new hole in the wall.
Yes,
A third hole in the wall.
Hole in the wall.
But if there's any flames left over, he's gonna pick up one of them, shelter it in his hand, walk over to a nearby cart, and basically grab as many, largely alcohol specifically, flasks as he can, and throw them into the room, and just let the flicker of fire land on it as he walks out. No need to leave any evidence behind.
Standard operating procedure for Death Watch. Yep.
He'll head after Helicoprion. Though he might swing by the Lord General's office first. He has a
Okay.
hunch.
Sure. So you head to the Lord General's office. It is the elevator ride takes a little bit longer than you remember it taking the first time, but eventually you get back up there.
So Daxan would click Helicoprion on, and it would just be a text message over the combat chat. I'll be right there. I'm checking a lead. And that would be end.
Yeah, my focus is on Sugan.
Yeah. He had a feeling. He just wanted to let you know where he was, just in case.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. As he enters the Lord General's office, he's going to look around. And he's going to. This is me making a mental leap through Daxan. Daxan is smarter than Omni is by like an order of fucking magnitude. And so, I mean, he's intellect 50, and the dude knows like 18 different types of microsurgery. Yes, he's more skilled than I am for sure.
You're smart, okay?
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm not that smart. I'm not like augmented human smart. Yeah, exactly. I'm quite comfortable with humanity in that respect. So, using his intellect, Daxian's going to follow the following idea. The Lord Governor has revealed that his chambers have a vault, which he's kept things in that are pivotal, which means that his chambers aren't just his chambers. His chambers are operating as some kind of hub of operations for him. Whether that would be a personal hub or a local BattleNet hub, doesn't matter. The Lord Governor or the Lord General wouldn't operate out of this room if he didn't also have a way to command his troops. Maybe even access local Vox and optical nets. So he's going to see if he can't find some kind of surveillance equipment in there. Something not like there's someone surveilling the room, but access to local comms and cameras.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Okay. Yeah, he's going to go over there.
It would be at his desk.
Perfect. He would sit down at it, take a moment, and pause, and breathe in. I hope you're watching me, Bucephalous. I'm not as good a tech as you were. And he's going to start punching in and see if he can't flick through a couple of the cameras and see if he can't get a view of the battlefront from where he is.
Okay. Let's have you make a tech use roll.
Hooray! I'm gonna, let's see, because he's, all right. I'm going to have him burn or spend a fate point. So I'm back down to, I think after all the trades that happened, I think I'm back down to 2. There we go, is what it is. Also, entertainingly, I made a stupid discovery. I didn't need to burn fate points to re-roll earlier. I was in solo mode, and in solo mode, I re-roll weapon skill tests I fail, including attacks.
Fuck.
So, oops. Anyway, gonna
Good thing y'all
remember
were
that
flush
for the
with fate
future.
points.
What?
Yeah, I know. Thank God.
Thank chat.
So good thing to remember.
Thank chat. They're coming in clutch.
So that's plus 10.
Yeah. Thank you, chat.
Yeah, I love you guys. You're great. So that's plus 10 for the fate point. I don't think I have any other benefits here. So I'm going to fucking re-roll that with another one. Because I feel like this will be fucking pivotal if we can get that. If we can get it to work. Come on, buddy. It is what
At least you're consistent.
consistently bad. Anyway, so
Now you're getting.
You're getting
God.
there.
So, Daxan, the elevator was a little bit of an omen as to why you feel like you are probably having trouble getting this running. The emergency systems are not providing enough power for all of the equipment that would be required for you to access what you're trying to get to. The power seems to be waning. And it's at that point that we're going to pivot over to Sugan and Helicoprion.
Cool. Okay.
I'm just taking the back seat, so this is all on Sugan.
Yep. I looked through the book because I was curious about this one time. I'm going to double check, but I don't think psychic interrogation is technically something I can do. I believe it's actually something that Dark Angel specifically can do, which doesn't make sense because every fucking army that has a psyker in the game can do that, but I guess not.
I think it's actually they just have a psychic. They have a psychic power that specifically is designed to do that in combat. I think out of combat you can. Like
Yeah.
literally, some of the most famous psychers in the Imperium are Space Marine psychers, and some of them get there by interrogating other people. Tiberius literally divined the Tyranid hive mind, and he's a fucking Ultramarine. So if he can do that shit, like you could probably do a dude.
Yeah, there's no like
Easily.
psychic. I mean, unless
So there are like the Dark Angels are just paranoid, and they have a lot of psychic powers themed around that. But there are generic psychic powers that are like from the telepathy discipline, like compel, mind probe, mind scan, that kind of thing. But unless you took those, you can't do them because those are specific psychic powers.
yeah, mind probe. Okay, yeah, mind probe would be something I would have to take.
Yeah, that's an ability you would have to know. Again, like the reason, like anyone can take that, but the reason the Dark Angels get the really good ones is because they're super paranoid and are constantly mind wiping themselves.
I forgot who I am.
I can imagine a little like fucking
anyone
like,
in-
toilet plungers.
For anyone in chat who is unaware of that, that's not something our characters would know. It's just we're lore nerds, and that's just what you said. So Dietrich doesn't know that. Yeah, like Dietrich wouldn't know that, but Dylan does.
I'm trying to think of what I could make instead. I mean, there literally is an interrogation skill.
I also might have a suggestion for you two.
What's
Yeah.
up?
You do know of one other method by which you might be able to extract information reliably from people. You've seen it
Setting
used
them on
before.
fire.
That would work, but no.
Lollipops.
Daxan has his truth serum. You have seen it work. It's your business. It might help you. I don't know how it would be like, but it could be a tool to help you to make this more successfully. Just an offer. Like if you were to ask him for it, I'm sure he'd volunteer it.
After the altercation that just had between the two of them, no, Sigyn doesn't want anything from you.
Fair.
Out of character, yeah, that would be good. In character,
All right, no. I got you, man. I got you. Stop, man. Stubborn.
Would you make a suboptimal decision for roleplay? Always.
So, I think what I'm gonna, I think, I'm trying to think what I actually want to do here. Since like most of them are friendly with me, what role would I have to make to see if any of them like seemed like they didn't give a shit about what I had to say earlier?
Scrutiny.
Scroot. Give him the old scroot. Okay, basic doesn't give me any bonuses here, but I will spend a fate point to give myself a +10 to this in advance. Okay, so I need to roll 51 or lower. And the scrutiny is perception. Okay. Ooh, that's really close too. Damn it. All right, we'll re-roll it with another fate. I will burn through all of this fate if I must. God damn it. Not
Every
meant to be.
single time we've re-rolled fate, it's always been, hey, that's worse.
Yeah, I go, can we make it worse for you? No, please. Wait, okay, so hold on. Didn't somebody say something about the modifiers whenever you roll something being bogged, like being messed up?
No, because it's a skill. If you don't have training in it, then it's really hard.
Does basic give you a penalty?
Base scrutiny is without penalty. It's the skill,
Okay,
the
then-
parent attribute.
So I rolled it. I added a 10, which would mean I need a 51 or lower, and the roll I got was 49, so I should have succeeded.
What's
on
the base attribute for Scroot?
it. It would be perception, so 41, and then I add 10 to the roll. So rolling lower than a 51 should have gotten it, and I rolled a 49.
Sounds right to me.
I remember Kane saying something about it being bogged, but
That sounds right to me.
Oh, I think I see what it is. Yeah, it's because when you do a modifier, you don't
you have to
put
do
the plus
minus.
in. You just put the
Or you just put.
You
I
just
forgot
put
about
the
that.
number unless it's negative. In which
Right.
case, then you make it because what you're doing is you're adding a positive, which is
So
mathematical bullshit. So yeah, that would be why.
great. Okay.
Operations.
Good to know, because I remember that being mentioned, but it's been 2 weeks, so my brain doesn't retain much in a few days.
It's been
I
longer than
couldn't
that
even
since
tell you
that
what
was
I ate.
mentioned.
I couldn't even tell you what I ate for dinner last night. So, let alone a rule from this game from 2 weeks ago. All right. So yes, I would have succeeded on the first one then, and I only would have ended up spending 1 fate point. So, like I said, I'm doing scrutiny to see if anybody seems like they aren't inspired. I'm not sort of like. I want to be more specific. I don't want to be like, oh, they didn't give a shit about what I had to say, but it's just like, who seemed indifferent, or who seemed like they were in another place when they were listening to me talk? Like, who seemed uncaring, like they're on
None
another
of them.
plane? None of them. So they all
None
seem
of them.
loyal.
Yeah, 100%.
Uh,
Furthermore, into the point, I mean, they just came out of a combat scenario where they were locked in with Xenos cultists that were trying to break into the Primaris Citadel, and they slaughtered a whole bunch of them.
Okay. I'm gonna flavor the scrutiny rolls, and I was just sort of like speaking and having like a not using the carouse skill, but like carousing with them, just like talking with them and like sort of easing them with all the horrible shit that's going on, and he comes to the conclusion like, okay, everything's good, and
Commander or Commissar Eve says, "So, are we regrouping? Are we charging into the center?"
I don't particularly think it would be wise, but if it were just me, yes, I would say yes. But I have brothers who will hold me to my actions, so I must wait for further orders. Otherwise, I would say yes, and that we would go with the Emperor.
May I be so bold as to offer a piece of advice?
Please.
Well, we don't have any intel. The VoxNet is scrambled, and as far as we know, everyone that's made their way towards the Citadel has, or not the Citadel, the Cenotaph was, well, they're fetting dead. So maybe we put some distance between us and the enemy until we can understand what's going on, and then mount a counterattack.
He'd fully turn to face everybody. I will do what is best to protect you, and if you think that is the wisest thing to do, then we shall.
She
Because
nods.
it would not be my orders.
She kind of nods, looks to the men. Get ready to move out. And they all get their shit. Helicoprion, Sugan.
Yeah, Sugan's giving Helicoprion a look like they're good. Like this is a little bit of a nod, and he's carrying on with them, kind of escorting them along, following up the rear.
Daxan, Dietrich.
You hear the click of affirmation.
Do I get them both?
Yeah.
Cool. Local Vox only, not verbal, so we're not scaring the poor humans.
There
We
are
have control.
children.
We have control over one loyalist force. I have something of a plan. It may require the armored forces as well. Dietrich, how is the cavalry?
How is the cavalry?
Yeah, it's a perfect point for us to pivot over to Dietrich. How close are you trying to get?
I want to be like within sprinting distance of the one tank that was fucking annihilated, or whatever tank that, like, if I see a tank, just I want to basically be in that area.
Okay, so you can see that. So you're basically going up into it.
Yeah, I'm getting close because I kind of assume. Correct me if I'm mistaken. I assume that there's like dust clouds and there's smoke and there's ash and there's all this kind of debris, just from the tomb rising up, that makes it difficult to parse, and I wouldn't really be able to get the clear information that I need from like taking a like a faraway approach. So I Dietrich feels like he probably has to get very close for this to make sense, for this to work.
Very fair. Okay. So, as you are approaching, you get in your head that it probably isn't going to be the best to be up in the air in such a visible target.
Yeah.
And looking for any tanks that might survive or have gone up in absolute obliteration, you quickly find what you're looking for: a sea of carnage, mass debris, huge chunks of buildings and hab blocks just torn asunder, armor and tanks split down the middle in some places. There's something that you don't see, though, and something that really sticks out to you, Dietrich. You don't see any bodies. You see las rifles. You see, in some places, like helmets lying on the ground, unattended. There's not a
Are there
single
any
mortal soul.
are there any kind of areas where there are still, like, I can still see and hear living people?
Make an awareness test for me, please.
Oh boy. I got fate. I'll reroll. And it's worse.
It is unbelievable.
Hold on. Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
You can hear down the street, off from an alley, the voice rebounding. A person crying out in pain. Like mind-shattering pain.
I'll run towards them.
You see before you a person screaming with their legs shattered, a piece of rubble and ruin, just tearing it, making it into meat. And down at the opposite end of this tight corridored alley, two shimmering silver beings with elongated features, their rib cages exposed to the open air and glowing with a sick unlight from within. They wield weapons unlike anything you've ever seen, with this glowing energy looking like it's ready to burst at any given moment.
You know, above table, I didn't realize this when I was making Dietrich and picking my gear, but there's actually an option for you to, like, take pictures and video in your helmets. And I thought, I'm not going to need that, and I would very much like that right now. Anyways, have they noticed me?
Definitely.
Cool.
They are.
Okay. So on one hand, Helicarpion told him, "Don't make contact. Get intel. Report back. Get people to consolidate." On the other, I've already been seen, and there are no more tanks to consolidate.
Not in the pit, but looking down at this mortal, you see a emblazonment on their collar, denoting them of commander rank. He is not looking like he's long for this world without intervention.
So his leg is just like a mangled piece of gore, then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. I want to fight these guys. I really want to fight these guys. I pull up my
Starship Troopers.
Yeah, no, I just no. They're right there. They're right there. God damn it! I pull out.
Helicoprion would not be upset about that.
But no. Dietrich is stoic, and I've already invoked my demeanor, so that's out. I think that from Dietrich's perspective, we have a commander with us, and I'm probably going to learn more from. Yeah, he looks at the commander, and with a deep sigh, he turns his back on the mortal, and he raises his hands, kind of like a gunslinger right before a duel, and the swords, one after another, fly to his hands. The energy sheath of the power sword blazons to life, and Foe Eater revs maliciously. And I'm gonna fight these guys. And over the Vox, over our Vox network, contact.
Perfect point to end the session.
Beautiful.
Also, a perfect point for Dylan to start making his next character.
I mean, yeah, it's been a couple of sessions. I should probably start rolling up a new one.
Dylan dies.
I'm just gonna say, I only hope you can take 2 Necron warriors. Maybe not keep them.
Oh, look at the
They ain't
points.
playing for their melee.